Hi, everybody. Hi. How is everyone doing today? So, Lori Juskowitz here, money mindset and manifestation coach. How is everybody doing today? Happy Thursday. It's a little dark and dreary here today by me. Yeah, so let me know in the comments if you can hear me okay. I know that I have my new microphone and it's been working out fabulous. And I just love it if someone could tell me that it's working. All right, great. So, I wanted to pop in today because I have an exciting special announcement and I wanted to share something with all of you that I have noticed lately coming up in community with clients, past clients, friends, family, right? And it's something especially this time of year that it can be extra challenging to do. But honestly, this can be a challenge any time of the year on a daily basis. So I have my handy dandy notes here because this is something that is so absolutely so important and near and dear to my heart. And I don't want to miss anything. So I went ahead and I took some notes just so I don't forget a thing. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in. So from the title of this video, it's basically what is happening, what's really happening when you make time, you're trying, you're stuck in a cycle of trying. I put trying in quotes, right? Because you're trying to make time and space for yourself. Okay. And you may have even had a little bit of success with it as well, right? You might be finding maybe 10, 15 minutes, maybe even longer for yourself to just pause, just rest, just take a break and just let your mind clear, right? And I have a question for you. So you can type it in the comments, or if you're watching this on the replay, oh my goodness, say hi. I get notified with all of your comments. So I love hearing. So if this is from the replay, go ahead and let me know and I can respond, right? Any questions, just pop them in there. Okay. So you may like, has this ever happened to you, right? Like where maybe go outside, or maybe it's in your home and you just find your favorite spot to just sit down because it's like 3 p.m. and you have been going since 6 p.m. or 6 a.m., right? So you had this early morning, you've gotten and taken care of so many things already. And you're like, gosh, I need to sit down for a moment, right? And just take a break. And then you go and you sit down, you put your feet up, you do that exhale, and you're just like, wow, I can't even believe it's 3 o'clock. And just as you're starting to relax, in comes like a freaking thunderbolt, right? Oh my gosh, you forgot to do this thing, right? Maybe it was to make that appointment for you or for a family member. Maybe it was to like do your taxes. That one happens to me a lot. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to call my accountant back. He called and I need to, make sure I get that thing to him, right? And or sometimes it'll be like, oh crap, this, a client had like, it could be like one of your clients, a coworker, anything like asks you for something. And like, you just totally forget. Right. And then now that you're sitting down, because you've had a moment of space, you've had a moment to clear, right? And you've created space for you, you've created mental space, right? And that's when like even more to dos pop in, right? So this is good for two reasons, but it's not for the to-dos. So imagine if when you created time and space for yourself, right, that you didn't get flooded with more to-dos, but you got flooded with more inspirations, more ideas. Maybe not even that. Maybe just a calm, serene feeling washes over you. And you're just like, oh my goodness, I'm noticing nature. I'm noticing the breeze. Oh my gosh, is that really the moon up there already? Or maybe it's your kids are playing outside or the neighbor's kids are playing outside, or maybe it's the dog or the neighbor's dog. Like, right, you're just noticing things. Okay. And they've been there. They just haven't been in your stream of consciousness. They haven't been in your field because you've been busy, right? Because you just didn't have that time and space created. Okay. So now you're sitting in this time and space that you have created, right? Or that you have just set aside. And now all the to-dos are popping in, right? They're all just firing. And what happens? Well, you're trying to not focus on it. You're trying to trying. Here we are with trying again. You're like, I'll do that in 5 minutes. But isn't the mind just relentless? And no, get up and do that thing, right? And this is the thing, because I call these the should voices. They're the people you might hear people say, oh, you're shoulding all over yourself, right? And yeah, but here's the thing. What I have come to learn is there's two kinds of shoulds. One of the kind of the shoulds is distracting you, and the other kinds of the shoulds are trying to show you something. They're trying to help you. They're trying to help you discover and uncover something. Okay, so I'm going to share a little story of what I mean here. So this happened to me, and it was I was sitting and I heard, right? This used to happen to me all the time. I heard, literally, I bought myself this beautiful outdoor fireplace, right? And I was sitting in front of it, back over the summer, I was sitting in front of it and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, right? And then I wasn't sitting 60 seconds. And then all of a sudden my brain kicked on. You forgot to do that thing. You forgot to message that client back. You forgot, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, no, I am sitting here. I have done enough today, right? All the things that we tell ourselves. But my brain was relentless, right? But it was in that space that I got to get curious of wait a second. Is this a should? Lori, you should be doing this? Or is this should just trying to distract me from taking a break? Or is this should trying to help me? So what I had discovered is this should was actually trying to help me. It was showing me a pattern, right? And we're going to dive really deep into this, but that's coming in a moment. But it was trying to show me a pattern so that I could disrupt it, right? And choose if I wanted that to be the continued pattern moving forward. Okay, so long story short, I sat down and I stayed. And when I stayed in this moment, excuse me, I'm going to cough. Excuse me, when I stayed there is when I actually had peace in my mind. Excuse me. I've got a tickle. Hold on. That is when I actually had peace in my mind. And I started to notice all of the things around me. Oh my goodness, this tickle is going to insist. Hold on. Okay. That is when this deep sense of gratitude and appreciation and space had been created, because I knew I had the tools that I needed to be able to decipher, is this a should value that's trying to distract me, or is this a should that is trying to help me? But it's this powerful process. And once you know how to do that and discern and know, it is the most freeing experience of peace and serenity that you get to experience. And that is what I want to help all of you with. If this is something that you're struggling with, if you're trying, you're trying to create time and space for you, you're trying, right? And you might even be successful at it and you sit down, but then your mind just kicks on. And this is the thing, you might not even realize that it's happening, but it is, because that just by giving yourself that small space, that mental space, what would be possible if that could open up and that time could be given to you instead of all the things you should be doing? Okay. And knowing the difference of when it is something you should be doing and when it's something that is somebody else's should, or it's a should that's trying to distract you. So yes. And you might even be struggling and stuck in that cycle of trying to create time and space for you. And let me know if this resonates, right? And you can let me know in the comments, even if it's on the replay, of oh, has this ever happened to you? I have an hour break for myself today. Okay, this is a hypothetical then. This isn't just saying like, has this ever happened to you where you have found about an hour of free time on your schedule and then like your phone rings and someone in your family, your loved ones, a friend, a neighbor, somebody is like, oh, hey, could you help me with something at X time? And it's that same time that you have available. Okay. It never freaking fails. So if this is you and you're like, how do I block this time off without feeling guilty for saying no or for whatever, or like they really need me. If I don't do it, who will? They're going to really be stuck. Wouldn't you love to know how to tell the difference in those shoulds of when it's something that should is trying to help you and when that should is trying to distract you? Wouldn't that be so clarifying for you? Which, yes, because I know it was clarifying for me. And I tell you, the freedom and the peace that you feel when you can discern the difference. So you can say goodbye to that guilt. So you can say goodbye to that unproductive feeling of like, I'm being lazy by sitting here. I should be up doing this right now, right? There will be time for me to sleep when I'm dead, right? Like, no. Yes, like that is so true. And, there will be time for you to rest, but you can rest now, and how might rest be helping you, right? Because what happens when we take that break, our mental space, our mental capacity opens, in comes appreciation, gratitude. What happens when we're feeling appreciative and gratitude, right? Like we start getting closer to our goals, dreams, and desires. We start getting ideas, we start getting inspirations where we feel better. When we feel better, everyone else around us feels better, right? So it's like, this is actually you helping you and everyone around you when you take time for you. And you're not going to do it if you are feeling guilty and unproductive. And you're not going to do it if that should voice is popping on, distracting you and saying all the reasons why you shouldn't be doing it. So, which is why I have created, and this is the special announcement part, right? Like what's really happening is you are needing to get clear on the difference in the shoulds. Are they distracting you or are they helping you? Okay. So, and we're going to dive deep into it on December 16th, which is my free workshop that I am hosting. It's called How to Create Time and Space for You Without Feeling Guilty and Unproductive, right? And without getting interrupted by, things that you think you should be doing, right? This is that key piece because when you can tell when, what is actually happening, then you are actually going to be able to follow through on creating that time and space for you without feeling guilty and unproductive, right? So, because I can stand here and I can tell you all day, I can tell you that like your to-do list is never going to be done, right? Like it just isn't because there's always things being added to it. But that's not going to change anything for you. What's going to change that for you is when you can get clear on the two kinds of shoulds. And when you can tell in your body, like, oh, okay, no, I get to hold off and sit here and really receive this time. Or, this is actually alerting me to something and trying to show me something. Let me grab my pen and journal, right? Like this is how we are actually going to find out. And we're going to deep dive into all of this at the workshop on December 16th. And I have a special surprise, right? So, because I don't want you to wait to start creating time and space for yourself until the workshop on December 16th, I'm going to drop in the comments underneath this video a link because I've created, we're going to start right now. I've created three meditations, guided meditations for you. They're going to help you start making time and space for yourself now. Like you can start by just doing this meditation, right? And at the workshop, because like what's going to come through in these meditations, what you're going to notice, what's going to shift. And then when you come to the workshop, we are going to teach you how to implement this practice into your everyday. Right? So you're going to learn the two kinds of shoulds so that you know when one's a distraction, one's an interruption, and when it's actually there to help you. You're going to learn how to create that time and that space. We're going to deep dive into all of that and then how to protect that time and space for you. and we're going to say goodbye to guilt, and we're going to say goodbye to that feeling of unproductive. And we're not going to just start on the 16th. We're going to start now. I'm going to drop a link. I have a special pricing. I'm actually going to give you my Pink Friday. So for those of you that aren't familiar with Pink Friday, so Black Friday is typically, that's the day after Thanksgiving. Usually it's bigger businesses. For small businesses, it's Pink Friday. Okay. So I did a special pricing where you can grab these 3 powerful, amazing meditations for only $17. Normally, they're a value of over $97. Normally I sell them for $27, but I'm going to give them to you for $17. So you can start taking action now, because this is the thing. When you start honoring you, and when you start honoring your time and space, you are sending a very powerful message to the universe that you are like, I am disrupting this pattern. I am a pattern disruptor. I recognize this about myself. I know how good I feel when I do create time and space for myself, when I do go and connect with friends, when I do go and, have that coffee date with a girlfriend, when I do, go sit down and read a book. And I know I need to do more of that. But the thing is I'm not doing it because guilt is showing up. The shoulds, the interruptions, the disruptions are all showing up. No more. I am going to teach you how to claim this time and space for yourself, how to protect it, how to get clear on what the shoulds are, the 2 different kinds, all of that. And I'm going to put the sign up link in this thread as well. The workshop is totally free. Just come. We're going to deep dive into all of this and say goodbye to that feeling of guilt, and say goodbye to that feeling of unproductive, and step into that feeling of expansiveness and expansion, where you are creating space so that when you sit down guilt-free, when you sit down knowing that you are being productive and that you are in this space to be able to receive, that you are going to be receiving not your to-do list and not your should list, but you are going to be receiving all that you already have, all that is on its way to you. And, and I tell you, like, this is how the how comes through. People will ask me, well, how can I get to my goals, dreams, and desires? Step 1, start creating time and space for yourself, because that is going to be a game changer. And I know that it seems counterintuitive and completely unrelated because you are so used to working so hard to make things happen. And this is going to be the disruptor that changes all of that. And this is how we start. This is exactly where we start at the beginning. This is that strong foundation. This is where, when I look back on my life, where I was, right, like stressed out, burnt out, constantly running on coffee and adrenaline and cortisol, right? And just stress was driving my life. When I look back at that, and where I, years back, right? Like, what was that, 2012? When I start looking back at that time, it's like 10 years ago. It's going to be 10 years ago. When I look back at that time and I look forward to where I am now, right? Like, no longer stressed out. I'm freaking like, yeah, like, this is amazing. Like, it is amazing what's possible. I'm making more money without the stress and burnout. I work from home. This is we just redid my home office, and again, we're going to talk about this too, of like how we create the space around you matters, and how that contributes to your energy, to how you spend the time, what you feel like spending time on, where you feel like spending time, right? Like, we're going to talk all about this in the workshop. Okay. But when I look back, the place I started was creating time and space for me, naming it, claiming it, honoring it, even when, like, I didn't have all the tools I have today. So I went through all of that to be able to develop all the tools so I can help all y'all. And you're going to be able to do it without the guilt, and you're going to be able to do it without feeling unproductive. And you're going to be able to do it in a way that just feels so amazing. So I hope that you'll join me. Again, look for the comments underneath this. If you're watching live, give me a few moments. I'm going to drop both links down there for you. And I am so looking forward to seeing all of you at this live workshop. You're going to, as soon as you sign up, you're going to get the emails with all more of the details, and just keep your eyes open for the emails and make sure that they're not going to your spam folder. And again, because you are coming, you're going to get that special. So as soon as, like, when you sign up, grab those guided meditations for the $17. All right. And that's at special pricing. Okay, everybody. So awesome getting to talk and chat with all of y'all today. And I hope you have an amazing night. Okay.